You're all welcome to today's deep news analysis. This is not just news. This is a serious moment in Nigeria's politics. Before we go in, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with me to the end. Because what you are about to hear is heavy. Let's get into it. It started with one strong voice, Nasir El-Rufai, a man many Nigerians know very well. A man who has been inside power. A man who understands how decisions are made behind closed doors. And now, he is speaking in a way that is direct, bold, and impossible to ignore. He did not speak in a calm or careful tone. He spoke with weight, with intent, with a message that landed hard across the country. He made a serious accusation. Not against outsiders. Not against unknown people. But against powerful Igbo leaders. According to him, some of these leaders are not supporting the release of Nnamdi Kanu. That alone is enough to raise tension. But he did not stop there. He went further. He mentioned a name. A known figure. A respected political voice in the southeast, Orji Uzor Kalu. And what he said was not soft. He accused him of being part of the problem. He suggested that instead of helping, he has worked against the release of someone many people in the region see as their own. That statement alone created a new line of debate. Because this is no longer a general claim. This is direct, clear, personal. And when politics becomes this direct, Nigerians pay attention. Now pause and think about the weight of this moment. This is not coming from a random voice online. This is coming from someone who has sat at the center of power. Someone who has seen how influence works. Someone who knows how alliances are formed, and how they are broken. So when he speaks like this, people listen differently. Not because they must agree, but because they know it may not be empty talk. At the same time, this statement touches a very sensitive issue. The situation of Nnamdi Kanu is already emotional. It already carries strong opinions. Across the southeast. Across Nigeria. And even beyond. Many people see it as a matter of justice. Others see it as a matter of law and order. But everyone agrees on one thing. It is a serious national issue. Now add this new claim into that situation. It changes the direction of the conversation. Because now, the question is no longer only about government action. It is also about internal politics. About what is happening within the leadership of the people involved. And that is where things become more complex. Because if true, it suggests division. If not true, it suggests something else entirely. Either way, it creates doubt. And in politics, doubt spreads very fast. Let's also remember the current reality on ground. Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life imprisonment on November 20th. That decision alone shook many people. It raised questions. It sparked reactions. It created strong opinions across different regions. After that, he was moved to Sokoto prison. A move that also drew attention. Because of the distance. Because of what it represents. Because of how people interpret it. All these events were already enough to keep the country talking. But now, this new accusation adds another layer. A deeper one. A more sensitive one. Because it suggests that the challenge may not only be external. It may also be internal. And when people begin to hear that their own leaders may be involved in their struggles, it creates a different kind of reaction. A stronger one. A more emotional one. That is why this moment matters. Because it is not just about what was said. It is about what it means. It is about what people believe. And it is about what may come next. Right now, Nigerians are watching closely. Trying to understand. Trying to connect the dots. Trying to see where the truth really stands. Because in a situation like this, every statement carries weight. Every name mentioned carries meaning. And every silence also sends a message. This is not just another political talk. This is a moment that is shaping conversations across the country. And as it unfolds, one thing is clear. This issue is no longer simple. It has entered a new phase. One that demands attention. one that demands careful thinking, and one that may define what happens next in this ongoing national discussion. Let us look deeper into what is happening, because this is no longer just about one statement. It is about timing. It is about position. And it is about power. Nasir El-Rufai is not speaking from a quiet place. He is speaking after a major political shift in his own journey. After leaving the All Progressives Congress, a party where he once held strong influence, he moved to the African Democratic Congress. That move alone changed how many people see his voice. He is no longer inside the circle. He is now speaking from outside. And in Nigerian politics, voices from outside often speak louder. Not because they are always right, but because they are no longer bound by silence. Since that move, his tone has changed. More open, more direct, more confrontational. He has not held back. And his recent comments show that clearly. He has been openly critical of the current administration led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is important, because it tells us that his current position is not neutral. He is actively questioning power, actively challenging decisions, and actively raising concerns. One of those concerns is very serious. He revealed that he wrote officially to Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor. This was not a casual statement. It was a formal step, a deliberate action. The issue he raised is one that cannot be ignored. He spoke about reports of the importation of thallium sulfate, a substance known for its danger, a poison that has no smell, no color, and can be extremely deadly. His words were clear and measured. If such a substance is being brought into the country, it is a matter that concerns every citizen. It raises questions about safety, about intent, and about accountability. Now place that side by side with his comments on Igbo leaders. It creates a wider picture. A picture of a man who is not just speaking on one issue, but on multiple sensitive matters at the same time. National security, political trust, ethnic leadership, judicial outcomes. All connected by one thing: concern about how things are being handled. This is where the situation becomes more serious. Because when one voice begins to connect different issues like this, people start to listen more closely. They begin to ask deeper questions. Is he revealing what others are afraid to say? Or is he shaping a new political narrative? That question matters. Because Nigeria's political space is already tense. Economic pressure is high. Public trust is fragile. And many citizens are already looking for answers. So when a figure like Nasir El-Rufai steps forward with strong claims, it does not happen in isolation. It enters an environment that is already charged. Now bring back the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. This case has moved beyond the courtroom. It is no longer just legal. It is political. It is emotional. And it carries deep regional meaning. For many people, it represents more than one individual. It represents a larger question about fairness, identity, and voice. So when new claims suggest that internal leaders may be part of the delay or problem, it shifts attention from government alone to internal dynamics within the region. That shift is powerful because it changes who people begin to question. It changes who people begin to trust. And it changes how people interpret events. At the same time, mentioning a name like Orji Uzor Kalu adds weight to the discussion. He is not a minor figure. He is experienced. He is visible. And he has influence. So when he is directly linked to such a claim, it naturally draws attention. It invites response. It creates pressure. And it increases the seriousness of the conversation. Now, all of this is happening at once. A former insider speaking out. A shift in political alignment. A direct challenge to current leadership. A national security concern being raised. And a sensitive regional issue being brought into focus. This combination is not common. And it is not small. It suggests that something bigger may be unfolding. Whether it is a push for accountability, or a repositioning within Nigeria's political structure, or simply a clash of perspectives. One thing is clear. The conversation has moved to another level. And Nigerians are not ignoring it. They are watching. They are listening. And they are waiting to see what comes next. Because moments like this do not pass quietly. They build. They expand. And they often lead to more revelations. Or more conflict. And sometimes, both at the same time. Now everything comes down to what this means for Nigeria. Because this moment is not isolated. It is part of a larger pattern. A pattern where political voices are becoming more direct, more open, and more willing to challenge each other in public. When Nasir El-Rufai speaks this way, it sends a signal. Not just to the people he mentioned, but to the entire political space. It shows that the usual silence is breaking. And once silence breaks in Nigerian politics, reactions follow quickly. Now consider the impact of what he said. When a northern political figure questions Igbo leadership, it touches identity. It touches history. It touches trust between regions. And these are not small matters. Nigeria is a country where words from leaders carry deep meaning. Because people listen through the lens of experience. Through the lens of past tensions. Through the lens of what they believe is fair or unfair. So when names like Orji Uzor Kalu are mentioned directly in connection with the situation of Nnamdi Kanu, it creates a serious reaction. Not just politically, but emotionally. Some people begin to question their leaders. Others begin to defend them. And some begin to look for hidden meanings behind the statement. That is how division can grow. Slowly, quietly, but strongly. At the same time, there is another side to this. Moments like this can also force clarity. They can push issues into the open. They can make conversations happen that were once avoided. Because sometimes, it takes a strong statement to bring hidden tensions to light. But that only works if there is honesty. If there is transparency. And if there is a willingness to respond with facts, not emotions. Now look again at the situation of Nnamdi Kanu. His sentencing to life imprisonment on November 20th and his transfer to Sokoto prison have already made this issue very sensitive. For many Nigerians, this is not just about law. It is about perception. It is about whether justice is seen to be fair. It is about whether decisions are understood and accepted. And when people do not fully understand a decision, they begin to create their own explanations. That is where speculation grows. That is where trust begins to weaken. So when new claims are introduced into that space, they do not stay small. They grow quickly. They spread. And they shape public opinion. Now add the wider political environment. Economic pressure. Public frustration. Growing demand for accountability. All these factors make every political statement more powerful. Because people are already listening more carefully. Already questioning more deeply. Already looking for answers. So this is not just about one man speaking. It is about how that speech fits into a larger national mood. A mood that is already tense. Already alert. Already sensitive. This is why what happens next is very important. Because situations like this can go in different directions. They can lead to open dialogue. Where facts are presented. Where questions are answered. And where clarity is achieved. Or they can lead to deeper division. Where accusations continue. Where trust breaks further. And where people begin to take sides without full understanding. That choice matters. And it is not just for politicians. It is also for the public. Because how people react will shape how the conversation grows. If reactions are based on emotion alone, tension will rise. If reactions are based on careful thinking, understanding may grow. But that balance is not always easy. Especially in a country where political issues often connect to identity. Now one thing is certain. This moment will not fade quickly. It has already entered public discussion. It has already raised questions. And it has already created attention. So it will continue to develop. New responses may come. New statements may follow. And new details may emerge. But through all of this, one point remains clear. Nigeria is at a stage where every major issue is connected. Politics, security, justice, leadership, public trust, all linked together. And when one part is shaken, the others feel it. That is why this moment must be handled carefully, with responsibility, with awareness, and with a focus on truth. Because in the end, what matters most is not just who is right or wrong. What matters is what keeps the country stable, what keeps the people informed, and what keeps the future steady. That is the real test of leadership. And that is what Nigerians are watching right now. At this point, the focus is shifting from what was said to what will be done. Institutions are now under quiet pressure. Leaders are being watched more closely. And silence from key figures is beginning to raise even more questions. For many Nigerians, this is no longer about taking sides. It is about understanding the truth behind serious claims. It is about knowing whether decisions are being made in the interest of justice or influence. The situation also places responsibility on those mentioned to respond clearly. Because in moments like this, silence can be interpreted in many ways, and unclear responses can deepen confusion. This is why the coming days are critical. Not for noise, but for clarity. Not for emotion, but for facts. Because the direction this takes will shape public trust going forward.